Man, what a wild ride it's been since 1.0 of Wuthering Waves. If you haven't watched my video on, like, I predicted Wuthering Waves, I think is what I titled the video, search it up. It is honestly kind of ironic how much of Wuthering Waves success I called before the game even came out. It was such an incredible ride from 1.1 all the way to 2.0. As soon as we got to Renacita, my mind was blown. Flying. This is when the game turned into a gacha game, mobile game, into what might be one of my favorite games of all time so far. The music is phenomenal. The combat is amazing. The boss fights are great. The characters are so well developed, and the pacing is so well done. The storytelling, amazing. This is honestly so much glaze to a game that I never thought this genre I would ever glaze this hard for a game. Like, as you guys know, I'm an avid lover of JRPGs and anime, and I play a lot of games. I watch a lot of anime. I consume multiple types of mediums that do really well and excel in telling amazing stories. So I've always been very critical of games like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin, PGR, any, gacha game that has storytelling, right? Because back then, a lot of the other games that had, story, the storytelling was mostly just visual novel, right? But Wuthering Waves takes this to a whole other extreme. I legit feel like I'm just watching an anime during these moments. I am glued to the screen. There's not a single time that I'm bored. Of course, granted, there are some quests that drag on a little bit. The beginning of 2.0 dragged on a little bit, or the middle, rather. Zanny's quest in the beginning dragged on a little bit. Psychona's a little bit. But every game has those moments. Even JRPGs have those moments. If you played any Tales of game, like Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Arise, Berseria, any of those games, there's always those moments when you're like, okay, I don't really care about this dialogue. I get it. They're being cutesy with each other in the story, but I want to get back to the main thing. But most of the time, that's due to, like, just going and doing other things and not staying true to the path of doing the main story, because you want to be a completionist and do every other thing. But this game does an amazing job at actually letting you play the game and telling the story through the game, whether that be through the scene we just seen at the end of 2.4 where Lupa is walking and you have that almost Kingdom Hearts-esque vibe where you have the storyboard playing in front of her. It's almost like she's walking on a film. That was so incredibly beautiful. She was actually walking on musical notes, pretty much. If you've ever seen and read musical sheets, it looked like empty sheets, and then the sheets were being filled in with words of affirmation and words from the past of previous characters. It was so incredibly beautiful. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here and start talking about the end of 2.4, because I waited to do this video, and I still have everything very fresh in my mind of the entirety of 2.4. I'm going to be real. A lot of people have been asking me, do you like it better like this, or we get everything at once? I like it better like this. We have more things to talk about. Obviously, I get more content out of it because I get to do multiple streams. I wish that they would do this more going forward. I know that's not going to be very plausible with every patch, because obviously the next patch is going to be what people would consider filler, right? But if you're going to say it's filler and it's going to be as good as Psychona's or better, then hey, I'll take it. But I don't think they're going to do the two-part like main story thing in the next patch. Maybe 2.6, we'll see that again. But did I enjoy them doing it like that? Yeah, very much so, because it gave me a reason to log into the game besides, just logging in, do the event all in one day, and then just don't log in again until there's another event, or until 6 weeks goes by and there's another main story for another main patch. So I actually hope in the future they do more of these, because this was awesome and the community was able to talk more about the game during this 6 weeks. And the next patch feels like it's right around the corner, because we just finished 2.4 part 2, and like, as I'm recording this, we have like 11 days till the next 12 or 11 days until the next update, which is insane. That's like right around the corner, man. I think it's only right if we start right from the beginning, as soon as we arrived in Septimon. Dude, the scene that played as we were gliding into Septimon, which, oh my god, they improved the graphics so much here. So much so that people couldn't even run the game like they could, including myself, until they optimized it a little bit. So I will say the optimization was pretty rough and really annoying at first, but they definitely cleaned it up. So I don't want to shit on them too much for that, because the optimization issues came with them really vastly improving the game, whether that be lighting, graphics, you know, the freaking leaves on the ground moving around and stuff when you run through them. Like, dude, that's so insane for a gacha game. I don't know how anyone's phones run this thing, bro. I swear to God. But the music that played during that area when we flied in, dude, that was so beautiful. I think I can still remember the song was like, Griffins call, banners gold, some shit like that. Like, it sounded like the dude that sang the guy from Star Rail. What the fuck? Oh, I forget his name. It started with a U. I forget his name, but I'm pretty sure that was the same guy. It sounded just like him. That was such an incredible song. And I also believe that is the main song for Septimon. It's like called Septimon's Ballad or Glory and Revelry or something like that. Beautiful, beautiful song as we're flying and gliding in to that new area. It was absolutely beautiful. And I will say right off the bat, I was pretty spot on with everything that happened. Again, I'm not mad at it because here's the thing. A lot of people, normal people, will not know everything, right? And they won't predict everything because they don't consume as much media as I do. I consume so much anime and so many video games, JRPGs, and they're like single player story games, right? That I have seen so many different tropes, so many different things for story using, like, to use for plot, like storytelling devices. And I kind of already knew that, like, dude, I understand the entire plot of Kingdom Hearts. If you know that, you know your shit. Because if any one of you play Kingdom Hearts, you know how convoluted that fucking game is. But yeah, I did call the whole Sonorosphere thing, and that Christopher's power was to create Sonorospheres, and that essentially what I felt was happening was the Sonorosphere was in turn feeding the Threnodian. And if we didn't defeat them, what was happening in the Sonorosphere was going to happen in Septimon, in actual Septimon. So it was technically an alternate reality, which is what I was saying. I said, this is not like a timeline thing, because I was working through the motions when I was playing. I'm like, this could be like, maybe this is what's going to happen if we don't stop it. But then as I started to play more, I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense. I think what is happening here is this is an alternate reality. And I love what they did with Cardathea being in that alternate reality. The overall theme of this patch, right? I love how everybody's been saying, Rover is so OP, he can do everything himself. What's the point of these other characters? He's way too strong. It makes the story boring. These people could not be further from the truth. Ever since 1.0, Rover has not been able to do anything himself, and that is the whole purpose of this story. If you remember in 1.3, Shorekeeper told us you need to rely more on your companions, because she probably knows in the past Rover tried to do everything themselves. Maybe that could be because they were arrogant. It could be because they didn't want to see anyone else get hurt, so they took on all of the burdens by themselves, and they didn't want to involve anybody else. It could be that, and that ended up being the downfall of the world, right? The almost extinction of humanity, because Rover did not rely more on his companions and the help of his companions. And I think it is so beautiful that ever since 1.0, with Gion helping us with Dreamless and the Threnodian, he saved our life. We literally would have died if it wasn't for him. Yang Yang was holding off the Tacit Discords while we were fighting the Dreamless, so we could focus solely on the Threnodian and not be interrupted by the hundreds of thousands of minions that were coming at us. That Yang Yang was holding off. Absolute legend. Then we have 1.1, where Chang Li saved us from that Sonorosphere when we were learning more about her past. Dude, like, ever since the beginning of the game, we have been saved by so many characters, and we have worked side by side with so many characters. 2.0, there's so many characters that if they weren't involved in the story, everything would go to shit. Lupa and Cardathea going to save Lupa would not even happen without Cantarella. Cantarella giving selflessly her powers of the Blessed Maiden after everything she went through to become the Blessed Maiden, the poison, the trials, saving her sisters and her family from going through the trials themselves and taking upon all those trials herself. And then after all of that, she selflessly, even though all these people are talking shit on her family, on her, saying that they work with the Threnodian, she was the most selfless character in the entire game, gave her power to told Imperator, give my power to Fleur de Lis so that she may continue to fight the Threnodian, because I don't think I could do what she's doing. I don't have the strength that she has. And in that, we were able to see Cardathia being able to hold off the Threnodian for what may be about 20 years now, I believe, if the lore is correct, waiting for Rover to come and kill her. And then we kill her, and Imperator says, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to use the last of my power to make sure she doesn't die. I will die, but I'll make sure that she survives. Her and Fleur de Lis, both sides of her power. So Cardathia would not even be in Septimon, saving Lupa without, you know, the Sentinel and without Cantarella. Carlotta played a huge role in all this too. Like, dude, it is so incredible how so many characters have come together, and all of these pieces have come to kind of help each other, unbeknownst to them, like how important their roles are to be able to save Septimon. Like, there's so many things that got involved. The only thing I don't like that much is the fact that Augusta and Yuno, while seeming so powerful, were nowhere to be found, and they weren't a part of that at all. I get this was Lupa's story, but I'm very curious how they're going to handle Augusta and Yuno's story, because I don't think we're done yet, right? Frolova did pick up the gem. Don't want to get too ahead of myself, but Frolova did pick up the gem, if you guys read the book, that the Threnodian's soul and will still exists in that gem. So there's still probably going to be some kind of corruption. You did see the teaser where the moon was getting corrupted, which essentially is going to be Yuno. So Yuno is probably going to get corrupted, and maybe Augusta too, and we're probably going to have to save them as well. Not sure if Cardathia is going to be a part of that, or if... Probably not, because she's in Black Shores now. She's kind of doing her own thing. But where the Threnodian is, she probably will be there as well. I absolutely loved the beginning of that area. We got to meet Buling as well. Now, without going too far, let's go back to the beginning a little bit. Buling. I hope I'm saying her name right. I love this character. I love her so much. I loved how bubbly I was playing the game in Japanese. Both languages did very, very good, by the way. I really liked how bubbly, and it fits so well, her personality, because she was such a playful, trolly kind of character. And I actually think that VA for her, it does a lot of characters like that with that kind of personality in other anime. So it was very, not nostalgic, but like familiar, because it seemed familiar, the voice actor, and I think it fit her very well. I actually really liked her role in the story, and I liked how they teased a new area of Huanglong as well with her, because we have the master that we've seen, right, which is also guaranteed to be Jianshin's master. It's pretty much already been confirmed in the story, and I can't wait to learn more about that area. I love her design. It's like a mix of like classic older Chinese mixed with like modern traditional Chinese. It looks so awesome. Like the headphones mixed with like the traditional outfit. It looks so good, dude. The beginning, I'm gonna be real. There's not as much about the beginning I want to talk about. There are some characters I want to focus on. Augusta and Yuno, awesome. In the beginning, we didn't see them at all in the second part of 2.4. But in the beginning, I loved their English voice actors. The Japanese voice actors were also very, very good as well. And I loved that scene of them two together and seeing how like boss lady, like spicy Yuno was, you know, pretty much getting rid of the Sylvia family. And Augusta and them working together was something that I said, what if they run the country together? And they pretty much do. They run Septimon together. Augusta, Yuno is like her advisor, pretty much. Anything that Yuno says, considering she can not predict the future, but get, you know, visions and premonitions. Yeah, the fact that she gets premonitions and like she can like see a little bit of what could happen definitely is something that Augusta is listening to. I also loved all the, not tropes, but like historical accuracy, like kind of things that they put in the lore. Like, for example, there was a moment, I don't remember if it was like a side story or an NPC that was talking about it, but they pretty much explained how the fall of one of the areas of the city happened because of a Trojan horse, pretty much. They didn't say the words Trojan horse, but it was essentially a Trojan horse, and that was in the part 2 of the story. But I found that so funny. I'm like, wow, chat, how many of you guys have seen Troy, right? Like Troy, that the whole thing of the movie at the end is they find their way in the city with a Trojan horse, and that's pretty much what the Fraxitis were doing, right? It was such a nice nod to like actual like Roman history. And I just like really loved all those nice touches that they added to the story and really gave it that more Roman vibe, like historically to the story. The tournament was fun, and we will talk about the event a little bit, the little tournament event with the, you know, being able to put debuffs on yourself to fight those. I love that. I love that so much. I love that event. It's my favorite event in the game. I'm pretty sure it's like similar to Babel Tower in PGR. Such a fun event, man. It was an absolute blast playing through that. And I hope we get more of those like that. And the banner one that's out right now, oh my lord, it is really good. They cooked with the battle events in this patch. Now, like I said, part 1 didn't have too many things to talk about. I think they did a great job at building up for part 2, because there was a lot of build up for part 1. Sure, we were fighting in the arena. We were getting to learn more about Lupa. I think, though, part 2 is where the patch really shined, of course. But they did do a great job at the ending of the part 1 part of the story. And I think they set up very well for part 2 for us to get into it. Lupa as a character, man, I love this character so much. I think my favorite characters in the game as of right now, that being story-wise and like gameplay, Cantarella, Lupa, and Cardathea, those 3 right now are my girls, man. I absolutely love them so much. I would die for these women, man. They are so well written. The music for them is so damn good. Their stories have been absolutely phenomenal. It's almost kind of a crime that Cantarella's was only a companion quest, because there's so many people who haven't done it. That literally could have been main story. That was so beautiful. And pretty much part 2 of 2.4 was a Lupa companion quest, essentially. When we first meet Lupa and she goes up to us, starts sniffing us, and then we're like, why does she... As we're playing through the story, why does she like us so much? Why is she like, it feels kind of fast, right? Because a lot of people were thinking, I thought that myself a little bit too. I'm like, wow, you know, maybe I'm starting to see what people are talking about. But then we play part 2 and we realize that the reason she is this way is that she's been betrayed so many times. She's had people throw the match. She's had her own family literally sold her as a fucking slave, traffic their kid to become a gladiator, because she originally came from Renacita as well, just like Mia did. He was sold by her family to the Sylvia family, was raised to become a gladiator, fight through bloody, brutal battles and training her entire life. And then after doing all that for the family, they betray her in the championship fight to try and throw the match. And that's happened to her a bunch of times. And then she meets somebody that has no connection or any kind of ties to Septimon, that is just strong, loves the thrill of the battle as well, just as she does. Someone that she can actually absolutely put her full 100% trust and faith into. And that's something that she has never been able to do before. The writing for this game is phenomenal when it comes to being able to tie these characters to Rover. They've done such a great job with this. And hearing her call us in Japanese, Aibo, it's such like a thing in my chat now. Everybody just spams Aibo every time she's on the screen. I absolutely love her so much. Her English is very good, but I just fell in love with her Japanese side because it showed a more feminine side. And while people may seem like, oh, it's not really the voice of a gladiator, says who, man? Like, what the fuck? What does the voice have to do with anything? If anything, Lupa had such moments of like weakness and where she opened up to us and was completely vulnerable. You know, she was hurt her entire life and didn't really have anyone she could trust. And when she's in battle, her voice in JP was very different. It was more angry, more focused, more battle maniac kind of thing. But, and you know, especially with that like maniacal laugh when she'd be fighting. And then when we would have moments of us being together, like in the hotel or, you know, Mia's grave, whatever, you would have those moments of the softness of her voice. And I think that's why I fell in love with the Japanese voice a little bit more for her, and immediately made me say, I want to play it in Japanese. It was essentially, originally going to play it in English. And I loved it. Also, I want to talk about that real quick. Y'all that are doing like sub versus dub arguments in my comments, y'all are fucking cringe. Like, I'm banning all of you. I hope you know that. You guys have no place in my community. Stop with the, oh, why is he playing in Japanese? He should play in English. This is cringe. You're getting banned. Like, who cares how the fuck I play the game? You want to play in English? Go play the fucking game in English. You want to play the game with Bloom on and fucking motion blur or ray tracing? Go fucking do that. Don't come to my stream and try and tell me how the fuck I should play the game, how I should enjoy the game, because I'm not enjoying it the way you wanted me to. Fuck yourself. Anyway, moving on. Just had to get that on my system because y'all were really fucking annoying with that in the last fucking stream. Literally could be talking about anything. The story, the characters, the music, the graphics, literally anything. You could be talking about anything, but all 90% of the comments we're talking about the fucking dub. Holy fucking shit, you guys are cringe. Go the fuck outside. When I'm talking about comparing the voices, I'm just telling you now why I personally liked the Japanese more. And you guys act like I'm saying the English sucks. I've said hundreds, if not thousands of times how good the English has been since 2.0. Like, holy fuck. I just personally enjoy it in Japanese more because that's who I am. I am literally learning Japanese. I'm going to Japan next year. Like, I like the Japanese culture and language. I am listening to in Japan. That's it. That's all you need to know. If you don't like that, then leave. Bye. Anyway, moving on. I had to get that out of my system. But yeah, I really enjoyed the like touching moments, these soft moments we had with her. I think that was the best parts about the character building for a character when we learned more about her. I absolutely love those moments. The moment at the end when she got drunk was really cute too. I really enjoyed that. Dude, the ending of 2.2 was probably one of the most absolute cinema things I have ever seen in my life. Dude, it was incredible, man. You had the side-by-side with Cardathia and Rover because Rover and Cardathia are tied, not by fate, but to each other because of the Imperator, because of the Sentinel, because Cardathia died, she did die, and gave you the last of her power to be able to fight the version of her that was being under the influence of the Threnodian. Even that version of her was holding back because she wanted to die. She wanted to break that seal and have the Threnodian did not have any power in Renacita anymore. And it's just such a nice touch that, like, even though they could sense each other, they couldn't see each other, they still were fighting side by side. And that whole side by side thing that they did, the animation there was absolutely incredible, bro. I have not seen anything like that. So, dude, that animation was as good as something out of Demon Slayer, bro. Some ufotable animation, Fate. Like, that was so beautiful, bro. And the music, my God, the music this patch has been incredible. Dude, there's been so many amazing songs, especially Lupa's song when she was fighting the Lady of the Sea. Oh my Lord. Ode to my something. I forgot what the hell it was called, but God, that song is so beautiful. But with the cliffhanger they had for part 1 was really well done, and that conclusion of us becoming champions and also holding off what happened. Because I think if we didn't do what we did there, what Cardathia didn't do, like if she didn't do what she did, like fighting off the Lioness, Cristofaro, all those tacit discords, she fought a version of the Lady of the Sea thing that Lupa fought, and she destroyed all those things. She was able to hold off that Sonosphere becoming, taking over Septimon, and that actually happening to Septimon, right? And she was able to protect Lupa and send her with her frequency to another story to where she met us, because she knew, she had the utmost faith that Rover would come for her, would help her save Septimon. She knew. She had the utmost faith that Rover would be there for her. Now we're getting into the beginning of part 2, where Lupa is saved by Cardathia so many times, because that cycle was repeating over and over and over and over again until finally Cardathia showed up and was able to change her fate in that story. Because what Lupa was doing was, in those 3 days that was happening to Septimon in that Sonosphere, on the first day, she was dying. She would die. She would literally lose all sense of control to the Threnodian, and then the story would repeat. And this was essentially to just break her will down and break her down so that they could influence her and take over her mind and body, because she is one of the vessels for the Threnodian, just as Mia was. I think that's so beautiful that Lupa, Mia, and Cardathia are all technically sisters, because they were all created by the Threnodian to be her vessel. Dude, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, holy shit, this was such an incredible patch, dude. So yeah, Cardathia finally arrives, and she's able to change the fate of Lupa. And before she was about to absolutely just lose all sense of herself and lose her mind and lose to the Threnodian, Lupa gets sent back with Fleur de Lis's frequency, which in turn makes Rover say, I'm sensing Fleur de Lis's frequency in Septimon. But in reality, what we were sensing was Lupa with Fleur de Lis's frequency. So that's why every time we were with Lupa, we could sense Fleur de Lis or Cardathia, right? It was such a beautiful thing that they did with that. And then as time goes on in that second part, the reason that Cardathea did that was to, you know, change the fate of the story and break the cycle. And so Lupa does change the cycle because of Rover. We win the championship, and she did not become, you know, taken over by the Threnodian. And then we end up finding the room, the hub, the central hub, where the Imperator put all their memories, which not gonna lie, I'm a little annoyed we didn't get to hear what it was that they left behind for Rover, but we'll probably see that in the next patch. But obviously that's where, you know, Lupa starts to lose control a little bit. And you remember with Prolova in the first part, which I forgot to talk about this, Rover was given the script of what's going to happen, and that's why I'm very curious about to like see what's going to happen with Prolova, because it seems like she might have a redemption, or maybe like there seemed to be some sadness when Christophora was talking about the experiments being done to Mia's body, you know, dead body, her corpse. There was like a look of disgust almost and sadness on Frolova's face while he was talking about it. It was really nice to see that because I think that they're going to try to do some kind of redemption thing. I want to know more about her past. She seems like she's not doing this because she wants to. Maybe she's forced to or something. I don't know. We'll know more about that. But yeah, you know, Prolova did tell us, which was a lie, by the way. Okay, Prolova did tell us during that moment in part 1 of the story that if you kill Lupa, all this goes away. All you have to do is kill her. But what actually would have happened if we killed Lupa, as we found out in the end, that if we killed Lupa, that Sonoros Sphere would have taken over Septimon, and that death, like Lupa's death, would have caused the end of Septimon. That would have, like, the Leviathan would have been born again if Lupa died. So it's a good thing that Rover listened to his own instincts, or their own instincts, and said to themselves, I'm going to put all my trust into Lupa. I'm not killing her. You know, I love her. We're not going to kill her. We're going to help her. We're going to save Septimon together. And he holds off the Threnodian and says, go. You have the power. I know you can do it. I have complete faith in you and all my trust in you. Aibo. Like, partner, you know? Like, that was such a great moment. Oh, God, that part choked me up so much. And then Lupa gets sent into another version of the story. A different script that they didn't expect to happen. Where Lupa goes and fights the Lady of the Sea, or Mia, which was the experimented body of her that became the vessel for the Threnodian. Even though she was a failed vessel, they were still experimenting on her to, you know, gain knowledge for the Threnodian and how to properly bring the Threnodian back, the Fraxidus that is. And that fight between Mia and Lupa was one of the most emotional and badass moments in the entire... Dude, that music... Oh my God, dude, that music was so badass. I'll play a clip here of my reaction to that moment where the guitar riff starts hitting when the Q to E thing pops up, dude. It was so freaking good. Oh shit. Oh my God, the song. Oh my God, yo, this is awesome! Holy guitar solo! Holy shit! Shine! Holy shit! Dude, I'm bricked up. Then, of course, like I said, we had that moment before that fight started where they accentuate again, like, hey, if it wasn't even for one of these things that happened, one of these people, we wouldn't be able to save Septimon. Lupa would not be able to do what she's doing here. And Lupa knows that. And that speech that she had and that speech that she gave is one of the best speeches I've heard in a game, or in general in a long time in a game. That was so beautiful. I believe the lines in the speech when something like Mia, Cardathea, they were born and raised by these islands. They are daughters of Renacita. They belong to no gods but their own. Her saying that to one of the quote-unquote gods, being the Threnodian, was such a badass moment. And the music that was playing there, dude, that part was so peak. And then it immediately transitions into this badass rock / metal song when we're fighting the Threnodian, fighting the Lady of the Sea. Holy shit, that fight was so good. And I also say I appreciate so much that this game does not allow you to use your team when doing these fights. Please keep doing this, Kuro. It makes the game so immersive by being able to play the story characters in their stories, in the respective main story. Because if I was able to use my Cardathea, that is S3, or my Carlota, that fight would have lasted 2 fucking seconds. So I am glad that they make it so you can die, right? You can die if you mess up and you lose all your HP when you're fighting this. It makes it feel like an actual video game. You know what I'm saying? The storytelling that happens during the fight, the QTE during the fight, the music changes during the second phase. It was all so beautiful. The moment we had with Mia that I wanted so bad, of me saying, I hope that once Lupa wins and frees her from the control of the Threnodian, maybe her soul comes through at least for a second and like smiles and says arigato or thank you or something. And it did. It happened. She didn't say any words, but during the fight, she was smiling. It was just 2 warriors just going toe to toe. Nothing else mattered. Everything else was complete silence. The only thing that mattered was the fight, the thrill of the fight that they were in right then and there. It's something that they both absolutely loved. As even though they were both created by the Threnodian, they both had similar, excitement when it came to fighting in the arena. That is what they lived for, the thrill of the crowd, the thrill of the fight, the thrill of the hunt. And seeing them both smile while fighting each other, God, that was so peak. And then that smile that Lupa gave at the end, like almost like a heartfelt thank you for freeing me, was so beautiful. Like, dude, Mia's not talked about enough, I feel like, by people that have played the game. Mia went through so much, even though they said that she was a failed vessel and, she had a weak, resonator skill and all that stuff, her resonator abilities were weak. She held off the Threnodian for so long until she pretty much did what Cardathea did, hold off until someone else could, save Septimon. Now, that fell on Lupa because she wasn't strong enough, but dude, the fact that even though she wasn't strong enough, she was able to hold off the Threnodian, the influence, and when she felt like she was finally about to lose control, instead of losing control and letting all that happen, she took her own sword and drove it straight through her chest and killed herself and threw herself in the water so no one could even find her body. Unfortunately, Cristoforo got the Sylvia family to still recover her body from the bottom of the sea. I wish they would explain how the fuck she did that, because that makes no sense. The fact that she was able to get her body and then she was experimented on. Her dead body. They defiled a lifeless corpse. They couldn't even let her soul rest and move on. They defiled her corpse to try and bring the Threnodian back and learn more about the Threnodian. And I think that was such a tragic but yet beautiful tale for Mia. And anyone who says this game's not dark, they don't have to show the shit on the screen for it to be dark. Them telling me what Mia went through is enough for me. I don't know, maybe that's not enough for you. Maybe you need to see some berserk level shit in the story, but I don't need to see that. And then, of course, we have the beautiful moment of Lupa jumping out of the book. And this is where I was holding back my tears because, God, the music, it was just like everything, the voice acting, the music, the animation, the story, like the battle, like the overall spectacle of everything was so beautiful. She's gonna run to them. Oh! I'm crying, bro. Oh, man. That is beautiful. Jesus Christ. That's beautiful. That was a beautiful ass picture. The voice acting, the music, holy fuck. It all came together so perfectly. This was fucking beautiful. Wow. I was doing so good holding it back until right there. Oh my God. This is such a beautiful fucking artwork, dude. Oh shit. Yeah, hit the like button. It helps me out a lot. Something out of A Knight's Tale. So did you. A Gladiator Tale. I love Cardathea. I'm a very emotional person. I'll just say it right then and there. I won't even cry. Like if a family member dies, I've carried my grandfather's casket, who was like one of the closest people in my life to me, and I didn't even shed a tear. But I feel like I am an empath in the way of like when I see people in pain, I kind of put myself in their shoes and I feel their pain. I feel their sadness. I think that's why a lot of people like my reactions so much, because it's so genuine and I just bear it all out there. I'm not afraid to cry on camera. I don't give a fuck what people say. Call me a bitch, I'll punch you in your face in real life, and then you'll look like the bitch. So it is what it is. I don't really care what people think. But yeah, all of that was it just came together in such a beautiful way, the spectacle of everything. And then we see Lupa jump out of the book and come back to the actual reality, not that sonosphere that they were in. And she sees Cardathia, which is essentially her sister. Cardathia is essentially her sister, which is makes it so much more beautiful, because Cardathia did save her. And the look in Lupa's eyes when she sees Cardathia and Rover, that they're okay, and she was able to do it. She was able to save Septimon, save Rover, save Cardathia, save, everything with everyone's help. And that relief of like, wow, I can finally like let down my guard now. It's over. We're together. Seeing her run to them, and it's choking me up right now just thinking about it. Seeing her run to them and hold them. I got to see that scene in English, because I only watched it in that part in Japanese. Everything else I've seen in English. But that part, the voice acting in Japanese was so good. I think that part right there is where the Japanese, like, where people are like, oh, she has too soft of a voice, too girly of a voice. I think that's where that voice really worked really well for that moment, because the genuine, like, choked upness of her, like, crying and holding back tears and just letting it all out, like barely being able to speak, and with that girly, like, innocent, like fragile voice, like, oh my God, thank God you're okay. I'm so happy to see you guys. We did it. We saved them. Like, oh, it was so beautiful. And then seeing Rover say, I knew you could do it. I knew that you could do it. I had the utmost faith in you, and I trusted you, and you did it. I'm proud of you. And, Cardathia saying, like, you made your own legend, a gladiator's tale. That, it was such a beautiful, beautiful scene. And then all the after stories things, like when you can go talk to each character, those moments were extremely beautiful too. Bonding with Lupa in the hotel, her leaning on you. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, here we go, the fan service. I don't fucking care, man. This is what these games are. Like, holy shit. I don't give a fuck. And it's not every character. As we've seen, Zanny didn't have any of that shit. Sure, we touched her horn, but that was about it. And not every character, even Carlota, like, while Carlota did, fancy us and rely on us, there wasn't any, like, crazy, like, fan service with her, like there has been with Cardathia and Lupa and Cantarello. Wow, I wonder why those three are my favorite. And I just started doing the banner event. I'm going to finish that sometime this week, maybe on Friday. So, yeah, you guys, man, you guys killed it with coming through, watching the stream, too. We broke a record of what I think before was 866 was my top viewers I've ever had on one live stream. That was during 2.2. In this live stream, we hit 915. So maybe not 2.5, because it probably won't be as hype, but maybe for 2.6, we can see over 1,000 on YouTube. That would be insane. The Persona videos have also been doing very good. There's a lot of other games coming out, and I'm so glad to have built this community that love my content and support my content, even though I'm not doing any of the Hoyoverse shit anymore. All you Hoyoverse retards that were saying your channel's gonna die without Honkai Impact 3rd, without Star Rail, without ZZZ, Hoyo made you, which they don't even know that I started my channel on doing JRPG content, and those videos always did way better than any of the Hoyoverse content I ever made, besides maybe one reaction to like Honkai Impact 3rd before I even played the game. I think it's probably like my highest rated video, but those people leave, right? Those people, they don't come back. They only were there for Honkai Impact 3rd, and that's it. The Hoyoverse, Honkai Star Rail people, they were only there for Star Rail, and that's it. Doesn't matter what else you played. You guys, Wuwa community, I play a new game on stream, you guys are there. I play, the Persona game, you guys were there. I played, what was it, NTE. I talk about Azure Pamelia. I'm doing all these videos on all these new gachas coming out. You guys show up. You guys pull up. So I really appreciate you guys a lot. We've been growing like crazy. In the last month, I think we got like 1,500 plus subs. Like, I think I doubled my views for the month. In this last month, it's been insane. We've been grinding super hard. And the anime content is also doing really good. The Patreon, all you guys that do support me on Patreon, I really appreciate you guys so much. We just hit 1,500 members. 1,500 people support me on Patreon. That's insane, man. I didn't think me just starting a separate channel to show my love for anime would ever get that high. So if you guys also watch my content here and you have a couple of bucks you want to throw at me a month, $5 a month on Patreon to watch my anime reactions like One Piece, the new anime that's out this season like Dandadan, Gachi Yakuta, Lord of Mysteries. The one I'm loving very much right now is Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. Dude, there's so many of them on there, and there's so many old anime I'm going back and watching that I never watched, and anime movies I never watched, like Silent Voice is still upcoming. I'm going to be watching that on stream. So I'll leave my Patreon link down below if you guys do want to support the channel. I also do stream on Kick the anime reactions. So if you guys want to see me react to anime live, hang out with me while we do that. It's always on Kick. So feel free to follow the Kick channel as well. I'll leave that link down below in the pinned comments and description. Thank you guys so much for all the support lately. This has been such an incredible ride, like 1.0 till now. We have grown so much, and we're almost at 30,000 subs. So if you guys have not subbed yet, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Be notified for future videos. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. Now, we're not done yet. I did want to like vaguely talk about the rating, because everybody's been saying, what do you rate this patch? Because you guys know I don't give out 10 out of 10s easy. For me, 10 out of 10 is perfect. And nothing's ever perfect. There's always issues where, like, Septimon did have issues in the beginning with optimization, and while they may have fixed it now, mostly, it was still a very big problem in the beginning. I'm gonna be real. That's really the only complaint I have at all. That is the only complaint that I have. I will say the music, 10. 10 out of 10. Absolutely phenomenal, the music. Exploration and the new areas was a 10. All these areas are vastly beautiful. They stay true to the Roman aesthetic, and they just keep improving with every patch. These areas look phenomenal. We can still fly in this area. Thank God. I was afraid they were going to get rid of that. The combat for the new characters is awesome. The new characters are awesome. Cardathea and Lupa are so damn fun. Everyone that's complaining about Lupa not doing enough damage, bro, who cares? I don't need every character to do Cardathea fucking damage. Like, or Carlotta damage. I'm not gonna lie, Carlotta and Cardathea, I can't even get a full rotation on a boss because they die. Like, so, yeah, you know, sometimes too broken is a thing. The story, man, 10. I'm sorry. The storytelling with the picture book stuff, like I said, that Kingdom Hearts moment where we were walking on the music sheets and the text was coming through from the past conversations we've had in 2.2, and then the music changing from like Lupa's theme to like when we're talking about Cardathea, changing to Against the Tide, and then going to the next music with, you know, showing Cardathea trying to save Lupa, and then Lupa fighting Mia. Like, dude, that was, oh god, it was literally cinema. If that was Honkai Star Rail, someone in my comments said, if that was Honkai Star Rail, we would have got black screen, white text, or we would have just got a fucking butterfly on the screen for fucking 10 minutes. Oh my god. The lag and like no bugs, but it was just like the optimization is the only thing that really annoyed me. I'm gonna be honest, this is probably the highest I've rated any patch for Wuthering Waves. I'm giving it a 9.8. Yep, 9.8 out of 10. It's damn near as close to perfect as you can possibly get. There has to be a moment where this is gonna start going down, bro. They have literally just been doing this since 2.0. Literally, they've just been going up, man. I don't understand it. I keep telling myself, nah, this patch has got to be mid, right? There's got to be like one mid character I could skip. Dude, they make me fall in love with every character. Every character design is fucking peak. The combat, awesome. They're so fun. The story has been amazing in every patch. The music has been improving every patch. The exploration in new areas have been improving every patch. They can't keep this up, bro. There's no way. Like, there's no way. Now, dude, imagine when we get New Federation and we get the Cyberpunk collab, bro. Oh my god, that's gonna break the internet. Especially with Cyberpunk just announcing his season 2, which is fucking awesome. Like, dude, I can't wait for that. I cannot believe I just yapped for 50 minutes. I don't know how long this video is gonna be after editing. Maybe like 40. But yeah, I talked shit about fucking, not shit, but I made fun of, not even made fun. I just like popped jokes at like Gotcha Smacks. I was like, damn, bro yapped for an hour on his review of the first part. I was like, bro's review was longer than the actual story. I get it, bro. Oh my god, damn, this patch has been so beautiful, man. I cannot wait for the next one. I'm very excited to know more about Furlova. I think they set up for her perfectly at the end there. Showing, if you read the script, if you didn't, go look at my reaction at the end of the story part. I was reading the book, the script. There is a moment where it shows Furlova picking up a gem that was left behind from Mia's helmet that has the essence of the Threnodian in it. But we're not done, right? And we still have Scar and Cristofaro there. So I'm very curious. We see Black Shores now has Cardathea. Cardathea is now a part of the Black Shores. Very curious to see how her Shorekeeper and like Camilla are gonna interact with each other. I'm very excited for that, dude. And I'm curious to see if Cardathia is still gonna be involved in the story in Renacita, because she has been such a massive part of it. And seeing her at the Black Shores and her talking about how she has so many places that she wants to visit and travel the world, and that she'll keep coming back to the Black Shores as a home for her. I'm very curious to see if even after 2.5, with Augusta and Yuno being 2.6, if she's going to be involved in any sort of way. I hope so, because I absolutely love Cardathia, and I think she is Septimon. She is Renacita. She is that region. She is everything. That story should completely revolve around her in some, shape or form. In some way, she should be involved, because she is linked to everything that's happening, because it was created by Threnodian. So I do feel like she should be a part of the story. Even if people are going to be like, oh my God, she's just a part of everything. That's the whole point. She's the main character of that area, right? Just like how Jinshi was, unfortunately, 1.0, they didn't have enough time to cook that. They had to rewrite that entire story. So Jinshi in 1.1 is not nearly, unfortunately, as peak as Cardathia's story throughout all of 2.0. The build-up for her from 2.0 to 2.2, and then actually being able to interact with her and fight alongside her and everything in 2.2, and then the same thing in 2.4. Absolute cinema. I hope we get to see more of her. Very excited for Augusto and Yuno, though. Very, very excited for them. They look amazing. I can't wait to see their combat. I think that patch is going to break the internet, just like 2.4 did. I think this might actually be even better, just because people are even more excited for Yuno and Augusta than they were for Lupa. So I think that patch is going to be fucking amazing and mind-blowing, especially for all the people that have watched Fate. Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, like I said earlier, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell. I'll be notified for future videos. Like I said, if you guys do want to support the channel, my link to my Patreon is in the description, pinned comments down below. A couple bucks a month, and you guys can get so much content. I'm reacting to like 20 plus anime this season. Plus, I am going to be reacting to older anime as well, and anime movies. You're getting probably like 30 videos almost, not a week. You're probably getting like 20 something videos a week on Patreon of content. So if you guys are looking for more things to watch, more content from me while also wanting to support the channel, the link to that is in the description, pinned comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, leave a comment down below what your favorite part of 2.4 was, or what you enjoyed about my reaction, or the journey that we've had from 1.0 till now. If you've been in part of my channel from the beginning of Wuthering Waves until now, feel free to let me know your thoughts on the growth and like how I've been covering the game, because I do like to see your guys' feedback. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I love y'all, and I'll see you guys on the next video.